there at noon. We're doing a multi-tool hour. I'm not going to pretend I know what that is, but bring your Leatherman or whatever, because Scott said to. It's one of our activities. I don't know what we're doing. We're doing a fire starting contest. Again, I don't know all the details, but any entrant lighting a fellow PRA member or surrounding vegetation or trees on fire automatically forfeits 10 points. So let's not do that. 5 p.m. Saturday, this is a big one. Prior to me being your CTO, for those of you who are new to the club, Jeff Karpinski, different Jeff, AB0L was our club CTO. He moved to the East Coast, 9 months ago? And recently passed. So we're doing a AB0L Memorial Field Day. Jeff, if you knew him, wore Hawaiian shirts to everything because that was his thing. We'd love for everybody who has one to bring a Hawaiian shirt, and we're going to do a group picture and send it to his wife. Because he was a super cool guy, and we super miss him. 5:30 p.m., family dinner. This is PRA supplied. In fact, all the burgers and hot dogs are in my truck out in the parking lot. We just picked them up at Costco. So we got burgers, we got hot dogs, we got potato salad, a couple other random things, even a little bit of dessert. Bring your own drinks. There's a few well, we got a food slide. We'll talk about that later. But bring your own drinks. After the dinner, we got a campfire. We may or may not do the movie Saturday night also, or we may do it Saturday instead of Friday. You know, again, we're camping. Whatever, we're flexible. Campfire, and prizes. We got radios to give away. There's always, I don't know what's in the prize pool this year, but in past year it's been t-shirts and hats and radios and bumper stickers and books and all sorts of crazy stuff, so make sure you don't miss that. 10 a.m. Sunday, we start tearing down. We leave the radio stations running to the very, very last and kind of squeak out at 11:59 before the park rangers kick us out. And then it's officially over at noon. So that's the coming week. We got more details on a lot of these things. So, food. Okay, I already said this. Hamburgers and hot dogs provided. Bring your own drinks. We do have some drinks, but not enough. Just basically, we're going to try to cover people who forgot something. For all meals other than Saturday evening, you're kind of on your own. But there's almost always a grill you can borrow because we usually set up grills on like 3 picnic tables. And if you need to grill your eggs and bacon or burgers or whatever, there's plenty of places to grill. Again, we do an everybody pitches in breakfast on Saturday. Bring your 5 eggs, as Dan says. 555. There are bears in the area, and the Forest Service does enforce putting your food away or they'll cite you. So be careful of bears, unless you're my wife and you like bears. But let's see, camping. There's an enormous supply of tent camping available. You do not need reservations. You do not even need to tell us you're coming. If you wake up on Saturday morning and you go, I think I should go to field day, but I haven't RSVP'd. That's okay. Come up to field day. If you're just going to stay for the day, then whatever. If you want to come up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday and camp, and you're tent camping, just show up. So we don't even need to know you're coming. You can just come. The club has reserved 5 sites, I think, or between 4 and 6 sites that we've reserved that are where we're going to do all our activities, and there's plenty of tent camping in those spaces. If you're bringing an RV or a trailer and you have not already reserved a spot like 3 months ago, all the reservable spots are gone. But there's about 30 sites that are first come, first served, plus there's other campgrounds in the area that they're all booked also, but they also have some first come, first served. So you're not out of luck, but if you do want one of the first come, first served, you probably ought to come up on Thursday. By the time you come up on Friday, you're probably not going to get a site. So that's the situation on that. They're all sold out, but there may be spots. Check-in time is 2 p.m., which may be different from past years because everybody's always talked about at 12 p.m., but their website says 2. I don't know. Are they picky?
It's always been 2, but
okay.
If you show up, everybody has to be out at noon.
So as long as they're out, you can go in and...
You may not get the campsite clean, but...
All right.
But yeah, you'll check in.
Got it. Quiet time from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. As somebody was saying earlier, the weather is predicted to be lovely. It'll be high 40s at night, mid 70s in the daytime. We're supposed to get rain on Thursday. However, past field days, we've gotten, we got 8 inches of snow one year. We've had hail. Last year we had torrential rain.
A little exaggerated there.
Well,
It goes up every year.
Yeah.
There's probably 1 inch, but now it's 8 inches.
Well, it's allowed. Last year, with no exaggeration, we got a river running through our field day site, and that is not an exaggeration, and lightning everywhere. It was very exciting. So, be prepared for Colorado weather. This year's going to be a little different. We're not supplying internet service to people who come up, but most cell service at least sort of works up there. T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T at least mostly work-ish. Yeah. Sometimes you got to hold your phone up or climb a little hill or something, but you can usually get some service. Woodland Park is 10 minutes away, and they've got hotels, auto parts, and car key duplication services. Why would we need that, Tom? Bring chairs. Yes, Dan, sir.
One thing I want to add to this, besides the chairs, which is very important, Wayne just texted me. He says the campground does not have any firewood.
Oh, yeah.
So bring firewood, please.
And we have firewood coming for the big club fire pit, but if you want your own fire at your own place, yeah, bring wood because there's none for sale up there.
So just to a compliment, they restock on Thursday.
Oh,
So there may not
Contact
be any,
with our host.
there may not be any now, but there should be some by the end of the week. But
okay.
the thing about it is it's kind of pricey. So if you can bring your own wood up, you're going to have a campfire at your site, or you want to put it in a big pile, stand rings, bring wood up, that's fine.
Cool. The squaw repeater is sort of reachable if you've got, 20 watts and a decent antenna. I wouldn't count on hitting squaw with an HT. Just if that's how you're planning on talking with somebody at home, just be aware it sort of works from the campsite. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to make that one pop up. Yeah, so no, these are the campsite rules. No drunken running through the woods at 3 a.m. screaming obscenities. Not that that's ever happened, but in case it were to cross your mind, don't do that. Yeah. I mean, it makes us look bad. Well, it was a guess. It was a guess. No sticks in the fire. We're picky about that rule. There's obvious consequences to that. Pets are welcome. They do have to be on a leash. That's not our rule. That's the Forest Service rule. And people do, by the way, bring lots of dogs. There's always a dozen dogs up there every year. So that's. And yeah, Cameron's daughters will wear your dogs out. Again, safety briefing Saturday at 8. No discharge of firearms in the campsite. And the U.S. Forest Service very broadly defines firearms. So just don't do anything that projects something out of it in the forest at our campsite is probably a good idea.
Basically anything which the city of Boulder deems dangerous.
Yes, like pencils and paper clips and words, mean words and mean tweets. Yeah. Do not use antenna launchers in front of U.S. Forest Service personnel.
See above?
I don't know how we would know that, but somehow we just know that.
We almost hit the truck, you just know. Launch it, it came right down. Word one.
No, he's already camping.
So does that mean that direction occurs on Thursday night at midnight?
Well, it means that we have somebody with a radio at the entrance, just letting us know if green trucks pull into the site. Storage of gasoline and other fuels must be in approved containers, another U.S. Forest Service one. If anybody has any concern, this one's serious. If anybody does have any safety concerns, let somebody know. Letting a board member know is probably the fastest way to solve it, but tell somebody if you see something Oh God, am I going to quote the DHS? If you see something, say something.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm ashamed.
Scott, 0MT is our safety.
Oh, is he? I wasn't aware of that. Okay, so Scott is your guy. So
We just made him that.
it's all his fault.
Hey, Scott!
Yeah. All right, and no smoking in the PRA campsites. All right, Colorado Campground, U.S. Forest Service Campground, 5.3 miles north of Woodland Park, which translates to about 10 minutes north of Woodland Park. You can also come from the north if you happen to live in the People's Republic of Boulder or something. It might be faster to come that way, but for most of us, going down to Colorado Springs and up Highway 24 is probably the fastest way. There is a big sign there, you can't miss it. We are in campsites, I think this is right, 25, 26, 27, 20, mid-20s. You can't, I mean, look for antennas. Look for Scott.
That is correct.
Okay.
Inside will be 26.
Okay.
There's a couple extras. Like
Yeah.
in there in line, 29 also.
Okay. There is a spigot for water, and there are pit toilets. Oh, I didn't change that. Firewood may or may not be available for purchase. Manitou Lake is, what, a half-mile walk? Maybe. So it's more than a quarter mile, less than a mile. It's north. There's good trout fishing. Bring your fishing license and your gear. It's
Bring
kind
your
of,
fishing license. The game wardens, trust me, I got
Yeah.
there a couple weeks ago. Within 10 minutes of getting there, they're like thumbs on a balloon salmon.
nice. Talk-in is 146.55. We'll start monitoring this. I arbitrarily made this up, but it seemed reasonable to me. 10 a.m. on Friday morning, we'll start listening. That's talk-in. I mean, the campsite's obvious. There's one of those giant U.S. Forest Service signs on Highway 67. You can't really miss it. If you want latitude, longitude, you know, there you go. But Google Maps. Yeah, that's the middle of the driveway going in. I mean, that's really accurate. No. Google Maps does take you to the right spot if you use Google Maps. It does know Colorado Campground and gets it right. All right, parking. Parking's a pain in the butt. They do enforce strict parking guidelines. These are not our rules. These are Forest Service rules. Parking at campsites, they strictly limit us to 2 vehicles per campsite, and most of that quota is already taken. So don't just say, hey, look, there's space, I can fit. No, it doesn't work that way. We would love to reserve empty spaces if we can for people who can't walk from the overflow parking, which I'll talk about in a minute. But even if we do run out of those spaces, oh, that's my next, here, I'll skip to this one. Well, no, I won't skip to that one. No vehicles are allowed to stick out over the road. You can't just park in the grass. You can't park at the side of the road just because you think there's space. They will first nicely ask you to leave and then ticket you. You must have a parking permit. I'm not sure who's handling those yet, but come, you know.
That'd be Scott.
Scott, yes, we'll make Scott do it. If you come to the main site 26 and talk to people. If you can carpool, that'd be lovely. I realize the complications of that, but if you're able to, that does make things easier. There is an overflow lot, which is the next slide. The overflow lot, and I have a map on the next slide, so don't worry, I'll show you the map in a second. There's an overflow parking lot with a short walk to the field day site. It's just outside the entrance to the park. I'll show you this on the map across the highway. It's probably a quarter mile-ish from the overflow parking to the site, somewhere in that ballpark. Not that far, 1/8 of a mile?
Yeah.
1/8 of a mile. It's a short walk. I'll show you on the picture in a second. There is plenty of parking there. You can park there overnight, and it's perfectly acceptable to, if you've got a bunch of stuff you're bringing, a tent or equipment or a grill or whatever, it's perfectly fine to drive in, park it in a legal spot, unload your stuff, and then go park in the overflow. That's perfectly fine. Yes, across the entrance. There's no permit required. You can just park there. If you arrive after 10 a.m. on Saturday and do not have a campsite reserved, you will probably end up in the overflow lot. Again, if you can't walk, we'll figure it out, but that's the plan. Okay, so The camp entrance is right here. The campsites this place is huge. It's all through the woods right here. And this little dirt spot on the other side of the highway across from the entrance, that's the overflow lot. And there's room for more cars than we've ever had up there in that lot. It's quite large, so plenty of room. Operating. All right. Every field day site has a maximum number of simultaneously transmitted signals followed by a designator. We are 2A, which means we have 2 stations on the air, and we're operating under A, which is the next bullet point I'll show you in a second. Plus, we're doing a get on the air station. Very simple. They allow you to have a free station just for people who walk up and you can hand them the microphone and they can play radio. We get a surprising number of people actually show up to that, so it's kind of fun. A lot of times it's the first time anybody's ever placed a microphone and talked on the radio. So running the GOTA station is a great job for social people who like to talk to random strangers who walk up. And all the kids who come by, all the kids get on the radio. We're all walking around with HTs on our belt. When a kid says hi on the radio, every single person in the campsite gets on the radio and says hi to them. So the kids have a great time. They think it's the greatest thing ever. This is a definition of A. I won't read it to you, but the important thing to note here is that everything needs to be within a 1,000-foot radius, which we're fine with, given the campsites that we've reserved. This year, we're doing single sideband only. We're not doing Morse code, we're not doing digital modes. Oh, and who put that in there? Especially no FT8. We're only doing real ham modes. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Yeah, well, okay. We have our Club FT991A and our IC7300 are going to be our 2 stations. There is a sign-up sheet on Sign Up Genius. The link to it comes out. It's been in the last 3 or 4 Sunday blasts. If you want to work a specific radio at a specific time, you may feel free to sign up on that list for a specific radio at a specific time. If you're just willing to run any radio at any time, somebody might come and tap on your shoulder and say, hey, have you ever run a radio before? We've got candy. Come to the tents. And we'll teach you how if you've never done it before. Let's see, anyone new to HF? Yeah, we'll get a co-operator for as much of that hour as you need somebody to help you work through it and get used to. We'll start out doing it for you, and then we'll hand you the mic and tell you what to say, and pretty soon we'll disappear and have fun with it. It's a great time. It's actually a whole lot more fun than you would think it is. It doesn't matter what license you have, or even if you don't have a license. We're operating under the club call, K0PRA, so everybody except the GOTA station will be K0PRA no matter what your license is. So don't fail to come just because you don't have the license you feel is appropriate. Everybody gets to play on the radio. That's kind of the whole point of field day. Brian, you want to show us N1MM? Sure. While Brian's getting all set up, any questions, discussion, anything else?
You're going to the National Forest, this campground?
Yes.
Which portion is it in? You know?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, it's Pike?
Is it Pike? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because it's west of Colorado Springs. Yeah. Anything else? Anything?
When you come in, there's a little check station. Come off the highway, you'll make a little turn to the right. You'll see a trailer there. That's where the campground is. It's not a gate or anything. There's a little choke point there. Okay? You do not need to stop there. If one of the 2 ladies that are running the campsite that want to come out and talk to you, that's fine. They might or might not be there. But you do not need to stop. You do not need to check it. Just go past that choke point, all the way to the back of the campground. You will take a left, and then we're down the road a little bit. But don't stop there. You can if you want to camp them, but you don't have to.
If you just follow the loop, you can't fail to find it. Because they're loud and you have a campsite, though. Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely. And if you don't stop there, just go to your campsite. They'll come around anyway and get your parking pass and all that. They come around very, very frequently. So
Are you gonna send out that PowerPoint via email?
I can.
If you
I can post it on the forums. Yeah.
Thank you.
There's nothing in here that's not going to be in the email over the next few days, but I'll do it anyway, just so you know. And the schedule page in particular is subject to interpretation and slippage.
And Scott, I heard, let me ask Scott a question real quick, sorry. Scott, I heard that you or I or someone, we were at HRO and we picked up 2 brand new, what do we pick up for the giveaway?
FT70s, HTs. Wow.
Brand new box?
Brand new, in the box.
2 of them for our door prizes
With
after
receipts.
dinner.
With receipts. So should you want to maybe not
Get a
have
real
an
radio.
HT, you are able to return it to HRO in unopened condition and use it as a down payment on whatever other equipment you may be so desired.
That's very generous. That's awesome.
And the other item is, that wasn't in Jeff's presentation, since I'm the
Safety
police and
coordinator.
everything else. Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
You may operate any station you choose up until Saturday morning.
Oh, yeah.
Then the only stations that will be on the air will be our GO station and our 2 HF stations. And that helps reduce the interference and radio signal collisions that we've been having in the past. So anyway, here you go.
Yeah, and I'll do like I did last year. I'll be listening for you guys at home, so hopefully you'll get a contact from me, and I'll be helping other contesters out there,
Yes.
make contacts
So,
also.
and that's a great point, Don. If you are operating from home, wonderful. When you go to submit your log to the ARRL website, it will ask for a club name. Put in Parker Radio Association. That way, your contacts will actually credit the club as well.
Perfect.
I know it's not a contest, but it's a contest. There's points and rules, it's a contest.
Points count.
But it's not.
And we've come in second before in Colorado,
Many times.
many times, but we've come in third. And somebody mentioned to us the other day that their club is always first. And I explained that might not be the case.
One thing to do.
What is that? What is that club?
That's the,
He's a QRP club out of Denver.
yeah.
Hey, Brian,
Yes.
I just texted you a map of Colorado Campground in case there's not one for what you're sending out. It's a really good map.
We also have a ICOM. We're tied with ICOM, and we got some ICOM shirts to give away as door prizes as well. You cannot buy these shirts. It's kind of a special shirt ICOM gave us. So we've got some of those and some other goodies, like some CW keys and all kinds of things. So you want to stick around after dinner for just a little while. We'll do that. We'll do our prize drawing.
The fire building competition. Are you ready, Brian?
Yes.
Okay, do your thing.
All right, so we're using N1MM for the logging for field day, which is pretty standard. Lots of people use this for content. It'll already be set up and connected the computer to the radios. You can see if you look up here across the top of the bar, it's showing you the frequency and the mode for my KX3. And if I reach over here and change the frequency on my dial, it changes the frequency there. And if I decide I want to jump down really low, you just type it into that first window and it'll change the frequency on the radio itself. And this is where you would record your call sign when you hear someone coming in. We'll be operating, N1M sets up in 2 ways, run and search and pounce. Search and pounce mode is when you're spinning the dial and you find someone and then you call them in response to their call. Run is when you set up on a particular frequency and stay there and just keep calling CQ until someone responds, which is what we will be doing at Field Day. So you'll be sitting there on the radio, CQ Field Day, K0PRA. CQ Field Day, K0PRA. Into SRK, into SRK. This is K0PRA. We are 2 Alpha, Charlie Oscar.
QSL, please copy 1 Alpha, Southern New Jersey.
Brian, what was 2 Alpha?
All right, so now notice what happened. Down here in the log portion section, it recorded that we made a contact with N2 SRK on 14250 upper sideband with a designator of 1 Alpha and a section of southern New Jersey. So sections are related to the area within the ARL section. We are Colorado, so Colorado is always just Colorado by itself. So we would be Charlie Oscar, the phonetic words for Colorado. We are we're 2 Alpha, right? Yeah. So when we are making a contact at Field Day, we would indicate that we are our class. If you'll notice on the display, we have, this is where you record the call, N0GQ, and the class is where you record the class they are, and then we give out the class that we are, which is 2 Alpha. In this case, it'd be N0GQ, and he would be 1 Delta, because deltas are home stations operating off commercial power. And he would also be a Charlie Oscar. And so that's why we would put usually it's the state, but some of the states are divided up, as Dan mentioned. Southern New Jersey is divided up into a couple of different ones. East, yep.
California will have a plethora of divisions. There's LAX for Los Angeles. There's SD, San Diego. There'll be orange. Just about every Orange County. There's just herds of them out there.
Don't let any of this worry you. This literally takes 10 or 15 minutes to get down, and you'll be jamming through it like you've done this forever. It's scary when you're looking at it up here. When you're actually on the radio doing this, it's amazing how fast you get the hang of it. So don't be scared by this.
So I'm going to go through this step by step now. All right, so there is, although we probably won't be picking up call signs from the East Coast, if you hear this call sign, Whiskey Alpha 4 United States Navy, that is the Charleston Amateur Radio Club operating off the USS Yorktown in the Charleston Harbor. Yes. And I promise you, it will be a lot hotter on that hangar deck of the aircraft carrier in the Charleston Harbor than it is under the pine trees at Woodland Park. I've done both. I know for sure. So here we typed in their call sign.
Quick question for you.
Yes,
So the next one, just do a tab?
that is correct. The next thing you do is you just hit the tab button on your keyboard, and it jumps straight over the class. They will be operating 3 Alpha, and then their section will be Sierra Charlie, SC. So all you have to do is hit the tab button.
Why do you know there'll be 3 Alpha?
Because that's what they always are.
Well, they'll tell you that. That's a little misleading. They're going to tell you what they are. Brian just knows they're 3 Alpha because he was out there doing it. But they're going to give you their call sign, and they're going to give you their section or their class, and then they're going to tell you that, and you're going to copy that, and then you're going to give that information for us back to them.
Right, so Dan said he was 1 Alpha because he's working from home on Howard Radio.
I have a single station, and Alpha is battery power.
Battery power, that's right.
And sometimes they'll give you 1 Alpha East Texas. So you might have to ask them what the actual section letters are, because if you don't know that East Texas is Echo Tango X-ray, you may not be able to guess it, because it isn't always 100% intuitive.
If you put the wrong thing in,
It'll kick it out at you.
And we can correct it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you've never done this before, another thing that wasn't explicitly mentioned is there will be a radio operator and a logger. So you're not trying to run the radio and log at the same time. You have a splitter and there's 2 headsets and there's 2 people there. If you want to log for yourself, you can, and many people do, but the intent is that there's 2 people at each radio. One logs, one runs the radio, and you work together. So,
There'll be 2 headsets per radio as well.
yes. 2 headsets for-
So here we are with WA4USN, 3 Alpha, South Carolina. All we have to do now is hit the enter the enter button, and it records it with all the data and everything there. Let's say we're rocking along on 20 and then, oh, good God, who is that? And we have to move up a couple of kilohertz to get away from them, right? So now we've moved to a new frequency, and then all of a sudden we hear NN0G, 1 delta, no, he would be 1 alpha.
He would also be on CW.
Colorado. Oh, wait, why is it not, it's not taking my enter. Oh, invalid class.
Brian, the screen died.
We'd rather hear a pop like that here though than
My radio's good, my computer's good. Not too worried about the pop. There we go. See if I'll just delete this one and start over. Alpha Bravo 4, Bravo Alpha. And we're going to put him in, he's a 1 Delta. No, that was a 2 Alpha. He said 2 Alpha. And he's Colorado. Wait, it's not taking my, why is it, oh, invalid class. It can't be both, that's right. So we have to go back and change it here. Yes, 2 alpha, or 1 alpha. There. That's the last one.
The previous one is the part of the logbook, so the one that's on the bottom is your previous contact.
See, you've got, here's the 4 entries we've gotten so far. And there's the most recent one, or the one that's currently highlighted. There we go, just like that. So 20's been going good, but then it slows down. We think maybe we should try 15. So we jump down to 15, and it automatically changes the radio and changes the logging. So now we pick up, oh look, WA4 USN is now on 15 meters. It was a good thing we moved down here. There are 3 alpha, hit the tab button, hit SC, hit enter, and there it goes. And it recorded the frequency correctly.
what happens if it's 2 hours later and there was a shift change and somebody else works WA4 USN?
That's a great question. Oh, look, the big red dupe comes up. Or is that the big red dope?
So if you don't know, the rules of the non-contest
Say that you can work each station once per band per mode. So you could work WA4 USN 5 times on 20 meters if you did CW, single sideband, JS8, FT8,
FT4,
FT4, CW, whatever. But you can't work them twice on 20 meters on sideband, for example, or twice on 20 meters on CW. It's once per band per mode. So that's what dupe means, is somebody, maybe in a shift earlier than you, already talked to that station on that band using that mode. And since we're only using one mode, sideband, that makes it easy, right?
I got another one. If by chance, it comes, like the person that calls you comes up as a dupe in the logbook, log it anyway. They may not have it, so just log it anyway.
How do we synchronize the two stations we're running?
We do it afterwards. So the
No,
two
so
stations,
the two stations, so one station is only going to operate 10 and 20,
10, 15, and
10,
20.
15, 20. The other station is going to be doing
40
40
and
and
80.
80.
So let me, if you'll notice, up there, you see how the 20 and 15 are gray, but everything else is blue? That means we've had no contacts on those blue bands and those blue modes. But where we've made a contact on 20 and 10, it's now grayed to let us know that we've successfully activated those bands.
So let's say it's 2 a.m. and you're working 20 meters. But you're only making 1 QSO per hour, maybe 3 per hour. Well, then you can try 10, try 15 meters. Don't go to 40 because other stations on 40. The same way, maybe you slow down on 40 meters, you're on the 48 meter station. You go
Did it again.
maybe it's crazy. You go to 30 QSOs now, 40 QSOs. So we'll show you how to change the antennas and do all that. But if it's 2 a.m. in the morning, you can't find anybody to help you, that's where the president of the club comes in. 2 a.m. in the morning, so that's where you wake up the president.
Like you're the president, you've got to get up.
The senior officer approves it. Well, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Well, may not be.
What was that error for?
That was because I put in just a plain New Jersey for W1AW, and there is no such thing as just a plain November Juliet. I guess it's what, southern New Jersey or eastern New Jersey? So we'll just put in S and J.
Next thing you know, it'll be south.
Now we've activated 40, 30, I mean
Now
20,
they're ready
10,
to
and 15. Oh, so Jeff,
sir, yes, sir.
because we'll have somebody logging and someone operating the radio, the loggers puts in somebody's call sign that we've worked before, and the red dupe pops up on the screen, what do?
Carry on.
Carry on. Log it anyway, just in case the last one didn't work. Because sometimes records get lost.
And sometimes you
People mistype call signs.
mistype, the letter, and it really isn't a dupe.
Yeah.
So let's review in first grade elementary form how we're going to log this.
Oh.
Yes.
Rorschach has a question.
Look over there.
Randy, you are asking me to look and see that far away. Come on. It's dark and
Just so I understand, okay, so you're in that position right now, and you tab to the next one. Put me in there.
K0TNG.
Now you tab,
Tab over to class.
1A. No,
Tab again.
CO, and tab again. What happens?
Goes back.
Okay.
But you can hit enter at this point too.
Yeah.
Actually, you can't. You have to be in this. You have to be in the section when you hit enter.
And you hit C0 and not CO.
Is that a zero? Or
That is
Oh.
a zero, it has a slash through it.
Whoa!
Zero.
What is that? An O instead of a zero. Okay.
Really unhappy. Shut the satellites down on accident.
All right. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this just like you're just going to say it out loud. I'll get to your questions in just a minute. Promise. So we're going to make up a call sign, AC5S. Now what do? Tab. What do I do?
Enter a class.
Yes,
Wait for them to tell you a class.
that's right.
They'll
2A,
call it out.
2A.
And his section is,
Charlie Oscar.
and then what do I do? Enter. There we go.
So the reality is, you may have heard this AC5S talk to 5 other people before you get your turn, and you already know call sign, class, and section, and you've already typed them in, and you're just sitting there waiting for your radio operator to confirm it. And you just hit enter, and you're done, and you move on to the next one. Because you're listening to the other conversations that are going on. Again, trust me, this looks really complicated, watching Brian do it up on the big screen. As soon as you sit down and doing this, don't be afraid of it. This is easy, it flows, you'll get the hang of it in 5 minutes.
Flashbacks to key punch day.
Enter.
All right, so I've got lady on the end.
Jeannie, do you have to type it in capitals, or is it
It
automatic?
automatically taps these caps.
Great question.
Great question.
I'm not used to field day conversations. Are they gonna give me the class in their section right away, basically?
Yes.
So they get their call
Yes.
sign?
Very fast.
So,
Yeah.
For instance,
Dan,
the stations that are trying to, it's not a contest, but they want to win. So they're going to go through what we call QSOs every hour, and Dan's going to show you
how
this
about
in
you?
a minute.
You want to do the
But
practice and I'll.
they're going to try to go through 60 QSOs an hour, and they're going to sound a little frustrated that you didn't hear them the first time. Or maybe due to propagation, you heard the call sign and the section, but you didn't hear the class. Okay. So you may be asking them again to repeat.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's going to come very quickly for the stations that are in it to win it.
And I can see if they're chasing them or going for their station, you should listen anyways to that call sign.
Right. But if it's, let's say it's a close field day, like we're doing, and let's say we got some kids up there. Let's say we put a 13-year-old on the air. He or she is going to be very, very slow. Okay?
And that's great.
And that's perfectly fine. We would rather do that than we would, really win the contest.
What contest?
Right. But the point is that if it's, it depends on who you're talking to. Whether it's going to come super fast, or whether it's going to come in a more normal speed, or whether it's going to come very slow. And again, with all the stations on the air and the way that the bands are, the propagation of everything, it could very well be that you hear part of this. You don't hear all of it. And then the operator's going to have to go back and ask again.
And we'll go through that.
That's where
Yeah.
also
All
when
that.
the second person comes in,
Your
your logger can help you pick out some of that. If
Yeah.
you're struggling to hear a call sign or a section or a class, your second person sitting there with you can be a very big help to help you figure out what the heck it was. Wayne, N080 is really, really good at picking stuff out of the dirt.
So here's what we're going to do. Brian is going to be my logger. I'm going to call as K0PRA. So this is what it's going to sound like at field day. I'll need all of you, as I call CQ, belled out your call sign. I'm going to pick somebody's call sign. Brian's going to log it. So remember, our call sign is what?
K0.
K0. And what's our class?
2A.
2A, and our section. Okay, so the cadence when we're doing a run, we're calling CQ. So you're going to hear me or whoever the operator is go CQ field day, K0PRA field day. Who's the Mike Tango?
NA0MT,
NA0MT, please copy 2 Alpha Colorado.
you are one, or I am 1 Bravo CO.
1 Bravo Charlie Oscar, thanks. QRZ? Who's the Tango November Golf?
Kilo 0, Tango November Golf.
Kilo 0 Tango November Golf, copy 2A Colorado.
Copy 1A Colorado.
1A Colorado, thanks. QRZ?
November 0,
Ending in Lima?
November India, 0 Lima.
November India 0 Lima, 2 Alpha Colorado.
Please copy 1 Echo Charlie Oscar.
1 Echo Charlie Oscar, thanks. QRZ?
Papa
Alpha
Victor
Tango Sierra Delta.
Tango Sierra Delta again?
Kilo Echo Zero Tango Sierra Delta.
Kilo Echo Zero, Tango Sierra Delta, 2 Alpha Colorado.
Copy 2 Alpha, copy 1 Delta Colorado.
Got the Colorado. What's your class? Your class again?
1 Delta.
Got the 1 Delta. Thanks. QRZ? Who's the Kilo Bravo Zero?
Kilo Bravo Zero, Papa Victor Bravo, QSL.
Kilo Bravo Zero, Papa Victor Bravo. Got it that time. 2 Alpha Colorado.
Now just, do I see your call sign again? Like
So you just give your class and section.
Charlie Oscar or 1 Alpha, Charlie Oscar.
KB0 PVD, 1 Alpha Colorado. Thanks. QRZ?
Alpha
November
Delta
12,
Tango.
Sierra Yankee Juliet.
Ending in Gulf? Was there a Gulf station?
November 0, Golf to Rock.
He got me. I got the November 0 again.
Golf Quebec, Golf Quebec.
November 0 Gulf Quebec, 2 Alpha Colorado.
Thank you, you're 1 Alpha Colorado.
Got the 1 Alpha Colorado. Thanks. QRZ? Who's the uniform?
Uniform Papa November. Kilo Foxtrot 6, Uniform Papa November.
Kilo Foxtrot 6. Uniform Papa November. Please copy 2 Alpha Colorado.
1 Delta, Colorado.
1 Delta Colorado. Thanks. QRZ?
Alpha Delta 1 Charlie Tango.
Mike Zulu.
Who's the Mike Zulu?
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Mike Zulu.
KF0 Mike Zulu. Copy 2 Alpha Colorado.
Copy that. 1 Alpha Colorado.
1 Alpha Colorado. Thanks. CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day. Kilowatt 0 Papa Radio Alpha Field Day.
Alpha Delta 1 Charlie Tango.
Yankee Juliet.
Who's the Alpha Delta 1?
Alpha Delta 1 Charlie Tango.
Alpha Delta 1 Charlie Tango. Copy 2 Alpha Colorado.
Yeah, please copy 1 Alpha November Victor.
Got the 1 Alpha November Victor. Thanks for Nevada. QRZ?
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Yankee Juliet.
Kilo Echo 0 Sierra again?
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Yankee Juliet.
Kilo Echo 0 Sierra Yankee Julia. Copy 2 Alpha Colorado.
1 Alpha Hawaii.
1 Alpha Hawaii. Aloha. Thanks. QRZ. Now let's just stop there. Here's the one thing. I'm really comfortable in doing that. I can set the speed. So if we had, who's going to be, this is their first field day. Awesome. Guess who's in control of the speed?
No.
You are. You are. So if you're going, if you had the script there, Randy, where's Randy? He was here. Oh, there you are.
Sitting on a trash can.
All right, Oscar.
I'm QRP.
Who's the QRP again? So we're going to have scripts here?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we can do is that if you're reading the script, CQ Field Day, Kilo 0, Papa Romeo Alpha Field Day, that's fine. It is perfectly fine. If you have to ask 27 times, can you give me your class again? That's fine. If you have to ask, can I get your section one more time? That's fine. Again, it's not a contest. Nobody's going to lose their lunch over it. Nobody's going to lose points. It's all good. It's the experience of getting on the air. You are in ultimate control of that.
Other thing you noticed, a couple times Dan didn't hear the call sign. Brian did. Brian has it populated on the screen. Dan looks at the screen.
Yep.
Because they're working together. Really good team here. And that's how it's going to work when you actually do it. Your logger is really important.
Yes.
And like Cameron said, some loggers are really good. And they can hear things that I can't hear. And they start populating it. So I look at the screen and go back to the station.
It is going to be audio alphabet soup. You're going to be hearing everything all over the place. Your logger, which Brian does a great job with, even if your logger gets 2 letters, they may point over and go, Papa Zulu. Okay, then as the operator, I'd say, who's the Papa Zulu station? And they would give the call, logger would hit it. All I'm doing is looking at what he's logging or what she's logging. W0 Papa Victor Zulu, got it, 2 Alpha Colorado.
And you can go the other way too.
Yep.
You can go the other way where the loggers, it was jumbled up. I didn't, logger
Got
didn't
nothing.
get it, but the operator got it, so that you work together like that.
And you can, as the operator, if your logger is like, having a hemorrhage,
Slow down.
just slow down, go, oh, okay, we got a Whiskey Zero Papa Victor Zulu. Okay, I think we got it now. We're 2 Alpha Colorado. You would have,
So what Dan was just doing, that is exactly what you'll be doing, sitting in front of the radio. This whole thing we were doing in the room here, it's shocking how accurate that actually was, except for one thing, and it's really important. 99.8% of ham radio operators are dirty old men like most of us in here. Guess who a dirty old man would rather talk to than anybody in the universe? You I'm not kidding. You guys will attract calls 10 or 20 times. It's better than having a 1,500 watt amplifier. You think I'm kidding? Wait and watch what happens when you sit down
what
at
the
radio.
cool part will be is you'll hear people go, y'all stand by.
Yeah, who's the
YL?
Seriously, you will hear that over and over and over.
Y'all stand by, there was a YL in there, go ahead. I mean, you want to talk about clear to frequency.
And kids are the same way. If you put a
Yep.
kid in front of the radio, it's the same thing. But-
Yep, absolutely.
So if I'm up in Washington State when field day happens.
Western or Eastern?
Southwest.
Western.
Western.
Okay. I use my regular call, same class, whatever I am. And then section would be,
Western Washington, WWA.
WWA.
Give me your call again, Ed.
sorry?
Give me your call again.
Kilo Echo Zero, Tango Sierra Delta.
Kilo Echo Zero, Tango Sierra Delta, copy 2 Alpha Colorado.
1 Delta, WW, West.
Western Washington.
Western Washington rolls off faster.
Western Washington, yes.
Yep.
That WW, I want to do WWE and I know that's wrong.
Now, you're, like, what Scott had mentioned before, California, that's jambalaya as it pertains to sections. You're going to hear people come back, San Joaquin Valley, SJV. Orange, OR. No, ORG. Mojave. Yep. And we'll have a cheat sheet there. And guess what? If you screw up the section,
No one
we'll
cares.
fix it. Nobody cares.
How many sections are there?
A lot. 70.
Enough.
Six, I think. I should know that.
More than 10.
I think that's right.
So with this work here, right, we made contact with California Station in LA.
LAX.
Right?
How many
We
AW?
got HA6Q1 Alpha, and they say East LA. I'm just gonna go East LA, California, because I have no idea what you're really doing. So
Okay.
That could be
There's
a
one,
noise,
I'm
yeah.
gonna take it anyway. Then what's gonna happen after we get done with the contest?
We go back through these and we'll fix them.
How can you tell looking at the screen in the log that we see here, or do you see it in a different view that it's good or bad?
I gave up that warning, it flashed that warning signal.
Yeah,
In
it gave
the
up
top
a warning
box.
on the upper window. We're in the lower window, how do we know?
There was a pop-up.
What was the question?
We're in the lower window, we're cleaning up after the fact.
Yep.
How do I know when I'm spanning through 100, 200 calls that ELA, CA is good or bad?
So right here, as far as ELA, if you try to put something in that's not a recognized section, it'll give you a pop-up that goes.
He's asking, how do we clean it up after the fact?
Okay, so after.
If we put it in anyway,
Yeah,
because we're in a
I'm
hurry.
sitting alone on a beach somewhere in Washington, and I want to clean up my list to send it in to get us points.
Okay. So one of the things you'll look for, if it's not a valid section, it'll give you a pop-up.
Yeah.
If you're doing it after the fact and you see, oh, instead of 2 letters or 3 letters, I got 6, or I have 4 letters.
Okay.
That's a good way to go, one of these things is not like the other, or I got to change
Okay,
it.
so that's.
Now, here's the other thing too. If you came back and said, oh, I wrote it as East LA and it should have been LAX, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Unlike a contest, there's not a,
It's not a contest.
It's not a copy.
yes, but there's points and rules, so.
So a 0-point indicator wouldn't necessarily mean that anything's copied wrong.
Correct.
Okay.
Also, your points are being totaled at the bottom there, that we're not counting. You've got 20 points.
Because it's not a contest.
But it's
right?
not a contest.
Right, so we have 20 points so far.
10 contests.
Which is more than we got last year.
Sorry I wasn't there.
If you weren't there last year, propagation was beyond horrendous. And our score literally was something like, the worst
Still
field
came
day
in
I've ever
second.
seen.
But you know what? Everybody had the worst field day because of that
Yeah.
solar flare.
Yeah.
Everybody had a,
So I forgot to add the school summary window. It'll probably already be up there when you sit down in front of the computer, but yeah. It'll tell you what you got and where you got them.
there you go.
We get extra points for QRP, I forgot.
Yes.
Yes.
And if we do, how does that get
It's how you,
classified?
the ADI file.
So, yeah, so when you go to set up your logbook, you'll designate what power class you're operating
So the other
as.
guy on the other end.
But through the AD, yes, you're correct. So through the ADI file, when you go to upload, you would select your power class when you go to upload through the
That
ARRL.
would transfer over to our log.
Yes.
somehow, From his,
Yes.
when it gets, okay.
And so for those of you that have not messed with N1MM or any of the other logging softwares out there, when we're talking about ADI files, that is when you create this file and you get ready to export it, you need to move it into a format that's acceptable at ARRL for submission. ADI is a standard, and this uses it. Now, once we've created it, you can open an ADI file, much like a spreadsheet like Excel, and you can go in, you can find some of these errors, and you can easily correct them in there in the spreadsheet format. You don't even have to do it in this program. But that's all behind the curtains.
Yeah,
It's
you
gonna
guys
happen
don't have to
later.
deal with
You don't
any
have
of
to
that.
worry about any of it.
Oh, so I can send you my files and you'll fix it for me?
Yeah, actually, you
Sure.
could.
Sure.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Jeff will.
I thought it was going to be the security officer, but
Yes.
Is field day domestic stations only?
No, you'll operate worldwide.
Do you get extra points for them?
You do.
Now, it's hard to get DX on field day because there's 750,000 hands all trying to talk to the same guy in France.
But I can
But they are
remember,
there.
I think it was our first field day.
Canada's.
And it was it was like 2 a.m. We were picking up Australia, New Zealand, Japan,
Picked up
40 years.
Guam the
Guam,
first year.
yeah.
That usually happens when the rest of the guys go to sleep because they're tired, and you're working at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning when the rest of the world is.
That's where being
putting
closer to
their
the
head on
West
the pillow.
Coast is beneficial to us.
Yes.
Because the East Coast people go to bed.
Keep in mind, Alaska is considered DX.
Yeah.
Really?
And so is Hawaii, and so is Canada, of course,
In Mexico.
and Mexico. So you can pick up some.
Brad?
One other comment, is N1MM, you know, if you learn how to use it at field day, you can use it in virtually every contest that's on the air through the year. Everybody uses N1MM. Whenever you turn that thing on, the first thing it says, oh, you want to update, it updates all the stuff, and it will populate whatever, all the things that you have to do for that contest. If it's a different contest, it may be class, section, number, there's various other things, but N1MM is sort of the gold standard for contesting if you get bitten by that bug.
Is this what we were using
When-
in Wings Over the Rockies? Were we using?
Yeah, we use that
We
Wings
did.
Over the Rockies because it's very easy, and then we can upload everything to QRZ and every place else.
So when you first download N1MM, if you're using this at home, it's going to ask you to create a database name. I just named mine my call sign is the database. Then under that database, it'll ask you to create what log do you want to use or what contest are you going to be operating, and it gives you an option of every single contest in the known world. And once you select that contest, yeah, so here you go. Here's the select a contest. It has everything in it. Now, whatever one you select, it will automatically populate what you need for that contest. So what the, either the call sign and what, when we see class and section for field day, that's what's considered the exchange. So the exchanges may change per contest. It may be signal report and state. It may be the year you were, the last 2 digits of the year you were licensed and your section or your county.
Yeah, there we did Ukrainian
So yeah, here's the,
SSB.
so you would need a,
I'm not sure what set you on.
okay, so the cent number, so it's probably a sequential number.
Sequential number.
So you're number 1. My Ukrainian's not up to speed.
Oblast is an administrative area. It's kind of like
Oh,
a state.
okay, it's like your section or your
It's
county.
like a state, kind of.
Okay. Your region.
Yeah, a region.
And what number they give you, so there's probably a sequential number that they'll give you. So if I talk to Paul, and he's my first contact, he's number 1. If I talk to Jerry, and he's my second contact, I'll tell Jerry, please copy 002 for my second contact. Yeah. And if Jeff ends up being my third contact, please copy 003.
And it's really fun to jump in the middle of one of these contests and somebody tells you, oh, you're number 1,332, and you tell them, yeah, you're number 2.
And you know what they'll go? They'll say, man, thanks.
Yep.
They love it.
They're all
Good luck
points.
working the contest.
Yeah.
Now, it usually shows a contest that probably nobody would ever use.
The Ukrainian SSB Championship.
Where are you even reading that?
On the top
there.
of the big window.
Ah, okay, thank you.
Of course, the station doesn't exist.
Any other questions? Do you want to do more role play? Do you not? You got it?
Do we need to ignore the hot buttons along the bottom?
You can. You can ignore the hot buttons. The one that I use the most, if I really just butcher something up in the middle of trying to type a call sign, a class, or a section, F12. That's just kind of my
Wipe.
Control-Alt-Delete, wipe it away, let's start over. And you may think, you go, okay, who's the WB6? Was it WB6? And I'm typing WB7. And you just go, all right, hang on a minute, I'm butchering this up in my logbook, F12. Let's start over. WA6 again, and they'll give you their call sign. You set the pace. So if the person before you is going like a rocket, don't feel like you got to go like a rocket. You set the pace. If you make 10 contacts in an hour, great. If you make 100 contacts in an hour, great. It's not a contest. Nobody cares. We're all going to have a good time.
And the other end gets points. You have to remember this. The other end gets points for talking to you. So they want to get the correct information. So they want to do
Yes.
this right. So it's okay to say, I didn't get that 4 times. Because you're not annoying them by talking to you. They get a point, or 2 points, or 3 points. So it's okay to screw it up and ask 4 times. Don't feel bad
And
about
thank
it.
them.
They want to get it right.
If you screw up their call sign 6 or 7 times and they hang in there, say, hey, thanks for hanging in with me. Have a great field day. Thanks for hanging in.
Everybody's in the same boat.
And when
Yeah.
you'll get these lulls in the contest where everything slows down and people just have random conversation. You know, how many of you guys are you? Where are you camping?
Yeah.
You'll have just these weird, strange, fun conversations with people you'll never meet.
And every once in a while, you'll know somebody from another
Yeah,
part of the
that's
country
fun
who will
too.
go, hey, where's Brad? Is he there? Brad!
You also get some YouTube personalities out there
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
playing. So if you get on YouTube and you go look up KB9DBR, he'll probably be playing. Mr. Heil, can't think of his call sign.
yeah.
Bob Heil will likely be on.
Joe Walsh from the Eagles. He's
WV6ACU.
He gets on.
K6EID.
I can't remember. But yeah, there's some guys out there that you might end up on their YouTube channel because they're recording themselves while they're doing their field day for part of their YouTube content. So you could end up being part of their YouTube channel.
New content. Next week's upload.
Robert?
Well, I was just going to say, this is probably the one event you will hear a higher proportion of new people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is not the, instead of getting 48 hours straight, you guys tried to rack up 1 million points. You will hear more new people in this event than any other.
Now, the fun part is about 30 minutes before field day starts, so at about 11:30, oh, we're testing the radio. We want to see how this is going. And then usually when it's about 11:58 and I'm having a QSO with somebody, I go, hey, do you want to hang around for a couple more minutes and be my first contact when this thing starts? Oh, yeah. You mind if I call CQ on this frequency? No, I answered you. Boom, and it starts. You already got their call sign. Hey, what are you guys operating, guys? Oh, our station's going to be 2 Alpha, Texas, West Texas. Great. So let's talk for a couple minutes. Hey, I got 12 noon. My time, you ready to go? Yeah. Copy 2 Alpha Colorado, 2 Alpha West Texas. Thanks, QRZ. And people are listening. So we'll kind of hijack it for you.
So not the last field day, the one before that, I was doing a park on the air activation with my call sign, and when it dropped at noon, I just switched call signs and off I ran. I had like 60 contacts in that hour to an hour and a half prior to the official start time, just so I could stake out a frequency for the club.
But if you haven't noticed from the enthusiasm, field day is the most fun thing this club does. Please come to field day. Your first time, your 100th time, we don't care.
Brian just gave me a great observation. What's QRZ mean?
Oh.
Ready for a transmission?
Ready for the next person.
Almost. Who's calling me?
Yeah.
So if you hear people go QRZ, jump.
How do you choose the frequency within the band, the monitor?
It'll be a solid block of air.
The only place you can find a sliver of kilohertz where you can hear nothing.
Good luck.
Tune for
Good luck,
an
you guys.
but good luck.
I mean, it's I-25, 5 o'clock at the Mousetrap.
Well, yeah, okay, so that's the other thing. We've talked about calling CQ. There's 2 ways to do this. You can be the person saying CQ, you guys please call me. You can also do search and pounce or hunt and pounce, whatever you want to call it, which is you just keep turning the dial, listening for people calling CQ, and then you call them back. They're both perfectly valid ways of doing it. Everybody has a preference, everybody has a style, there's no right or wrong way. Some people will call CQ until they can't get anybody to call them anymore, and then they'll switch to hunt and pounce for 20 minutes. And that's okay.
This is why we use the computer program, because if you're doing the search and pounce, and I'm over here spinning the dial, I don't have time to stop and think about what frequency and get that in the log correctly.
If you look on the very top of the top right window, see the frequencies changing as Brian is turning the dial on his radio, so that it automatically knows where you are.
Oh, okay.
So,
someone's on, say, 1450, and they're doing single sideband on what I would expect to typically be a CW region of the band. Is that cool, not cool on field day? Sounds not cool.
Stay in the voice,
Stay in the voice.
portions.
The Canadians
Stay in my license?
No.
So if you're operating with us,
I'm operating independently.
stay in your license,
Stay in my
yes,
license.
stay in your privileges, yes.
But yes, the Canadians can do sideband in what we consider the CW portion of the band. It's not legal to call them back on sideband because we're not allowed to do sideband down there where they are.
Okay.
So those are things you have
It's
to.
actually legal, right, with that?
Oh, they'll let you know.
They'll let you know.
No, it's not legal.
It's not legal.
Not for us.
No.
They're allowed to operate in what we call the CW portion, and it's legal for the Canadians. That's okay. But we can't do that. Even if they're calling us, we can't talk back to them. That's not legal.
Unless they're operating split.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other
That's a whole other
conversation.
Transmit on one, listen on another.
What other questions? It's a lot to absorb, Randy.
And everybody understands what QSL means?
Roger that.
It's like 10-4 good buddy for him right now.
QSL means I got all your info, thank you.
I understand it, you understand, Roger? I like that.
What's your clearance, Clarence?
Yeah, I was over under and under buck.
Director Victor.
CW, it's RR.
RR, yeah.
Yeah.
God world.
All right, what else?
Have fun.
CQ. We did that.
Good job. So who's coming up? Friday, help set up antennas at noon.
At noon.
Okay?
Sweet.
We'll make sure we
Work.
hold off until.
Stream will be closing in 20 minutes.
Is there anything that we need to go over from the business meeting side? Robert, do we have money?
We got money.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, let me,
Yes.
well, we got the field day in the front windshield, right? But it's important we don't lose the rearview mirror in Parker days. Just from the outside looking in, I thought the club was represented really well. I thought it went awesome. Everybody that was there did a great job. So,
Yeah, I want to
go.
give a particular shout out to Randy, Paul, and Scott. Behind the scenes, these guys pulled it all together with the event coordinators. Even, I think there was even the event coordinators needed some help throughout all of it.
Oh, my God.
Probably a good way to put it. I want to give a particular thanks to those three gentlemen who really came together. Now, I know, Randy, you have a list of people that obviously participated in Parker Days. And there were a number of people in this room that were at Parker Days, right? Yeah, raise your hands if you were at Parker Days. Look at that turnout. That was awesome. That helps us as an organization fulfill our mission in giving back to the community. We were absolutely great ambassadors to amateur radio. People were interested in who we are, what we did, particularly when it started pouring rain. And people all came scrambling towards our tent. Hey, what is this all about? Randy did a great job. He got actually some trifold brochures that were made up. We'll have some of them at Field Day to pass out to some of our visitors and guests. But that was a great little marketing piece that Randy put together. Got printed up. We were handing them out left and right. People got to know who the... Yeah, exactly. So for those that participated in Parker Days, thank you. That went a very, very long way. Poor Stan, Stan held his ground. I'm going to stand through this rain, no problem. Poor Stan got soaked. Stan looked like the poor abandoned puppy in the corner of a Sally Struthers commercial. Done.
I just wanted to say one thing, because I have regular contact with the site owner up on Squaw, and for everything that we're doing up there and taking care of things and keeping the place clean and everything, he is really, really appreciative and has nothing but good things to say about the PRA.
Awesome. Thank you, Don. Yeah, that's good stuff. Those are the little things that we do. Obviously, when somebody gifts us with such a great site, we help them upkeep it. We help them maintain it. We do little things in order to kind of give back a little bit.
How much did the Field Day Parker folks donate to the club?
Don't know yet. I don't know if there
We're
was...
in
you guys
contact.
are-
Yeah, we're working through that.
Yep. Jared.
Next Wednesday, Elmer Night.
Yes. What's going on?
What's going on?
This is the antenna circus. The antenna show and tell for the Cobra and Challenger.
Yeah, finish the antenna.
In March. Everybody, come please, join us next Wednesday. Let's see all the creativity and innovation that this group of people has come up with. And
Yes.
we'll have just a brief overview about antenna analyzers, and we'll let everybody get up and we'll put their antennas on the analyzer and see how people do.
And there's whoever is selected by the judges as the most creative, the best antenna of the night. I'm not sure exactly how Jerry's going to work through that, but we have a brand new Yaesu FT70D.
Whoa!
Right off the shelf at HRO to hand out.
What's the There we go. Awesome.
Digital.
Analog and digital. Good deal. What else? Any last minute questions for Field Day?
You can always email, board at
Board@parkerradio.org.
Ask anything you want.
Fire starting, throw this out real quick. If you are so inclined, and I challenge everybody, start a fire without a match. And get more creative than a ferro rod, and there's bonus points. We'll have to build.
Can I use thermite?
If you can light it with something, other than a match and or ferro rod. But there are no accelerants, no gasoline, no lighter fluids.
But if you use a match, just,
There's gonna be a 30-second penalty.
30-second penalty.
But you can use one. Hey, if you can get a fire started with it, try it.
It's amazing what you can do with a little drain cleaner and.
Hey, sandwich bag and water. Yeah, I want to see somebody pull that one off. I want to see a Coke can. You can use the bottom of that Coke can. I want to see that one pulled off.
Some serious elbow grease.
There we go.
That's my easy wheel.
All you need is Paul.
Yeah. You just unroll it.
I will have that set up.
Any last minute questions regarding the club, field day, N1MM, Elmer night next Wednesday, next Wednesday?
So
Robert.
Wednesday following.
I do just want to mention, of course, we're working with Chad to move all the t-shirt stuff to him.
Yes.
We have shut down the order store on the website. I didn't want any orphan orders hanging out there. So we do have a few t-shirts left. I'll start bringing those to meetings if you want to pick one up. Yeah, just off the side piece here, so I'll start bringing those.
What's the cost?
$20.